Let's begin. Welcome to all the regulars. Welcome to anybody new. What an incredible week of Survivor. I mean, I was saying LaRue was at the viewing on Thursday, and I said to him, Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm glad are sort of more relaxed, not boring or like dull or anything, but more relaxed. Because Thursdays and Fridays are so overwhelming. Oh, Wednesdays and Thursdays are so overwhelming that it just becomes like this, like an avalanche rolling down the hill of like drama from start to finish. I'm literally sitting here with a pen and paper trying to figure out who went home on Wednesday and realized actually nobody went home on Wednesday and it was still dramatic. So, I mean, let's just start at the beginning on Monday. Yeah. What happened? Everybody has some sort of package in their pantses, as our good friend Meryl said. Well, at that point, I don't think everybody had one, but we are playing Advantage Geddon. It is, I mean, even I have a little whiteboard here, and I don't think it's big enough to keep up with what was happening this week. Who had what? Who is in an alliance? But who's their true alliance? Who's with former Masu? Who's with former Yanto? It got so crazy that by Thursday, after that incredible episode on Wednesday where they had to stand on the pole and people were jumping off and sending people to Outpost, I don't think if you knew exactly what was happening after that episode, then you deserve to do like a master's in Survivor. Because I had to, well, firstly, let me explain what happened as well. On Wednesday night, boom, load shedding, right? So I'm like getting ready for load shedding. I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to stay for social media. I'm going to watch it after 8 when load shedding comes back on. So I'm sitting upstairs on my phone, just like scrolling. It's like 6:30. And I realize my light is still on. So I missed the first half an hour on purpose. Then I went downstairs and I was like, they were already at Outpost. And I was like, but what is happening here? Tony and Philip are at Outpost. And even after watching the first part of the episode, knowing what happened at the end, I still had no idea. You know that meme where the lady's like this, doing the sums? That was me on Wednesday. Because Monday was a pretty chilled episode in my opinion. We pretty slow moving. We had a challenge that I thought we would see using the tribal logos that we see on the Outcasts, Return of the Outcasts. I've been looking at those 3 logos the whole time going, at some point they're going to be in a maze blindfolded. I'm pretty sure that we will see it again come up. But then we had this challenge, and one of the things that came through very strongly on social media was this idea that people play dirty. And I always think it's interesting when other people play dirty and they win, and the people who are calling them out says, nah, that was dirty. But then when you do something shady, it's not playing dirty. So I think in the true meaning of Survivor, outplay, outwit, outlast, all of those things is kind of like coloring with outside the lines in terms of what is acceptable and what is playing dirty. I mean, essentially the whole game is about doing people dirty. So I really enjoyed it. It was funny to watch. I don't know if I would have had a sense of humor in that moment with people shouting over Teresa. And I've sat in a pizza restaurant across from Teresa. She has got a booming voice. It's the bass in her voice sort of cuts through a lot of noise. But that moment where Dino's at the puzzle and poor old Tony and Kilani are like doing a follow the leader, but the leader's blind, and Dino says, come more this way, and like tries to like dodge them. I thought it was such TV gold to watch all of that unravel on TV. And on top of that, Teresa just being like, I don't even know what to do anymore because everybody's shouting so loudly. And I don't know if you caught who it actually was. I watched the episode twice, but I don't know who was the person who actually came up with the idea to shout over people. Because at some point, like, Meryl and Dino weren't doing it. I don't know if they thought it was like they were already winning and they didn't really have to do it or what. But I don't know if I can recall who actually decided to start yelling. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Philip because he's just that dude. So even though the challenge was pretty straightforward, that part of it was so entertaining to watch, and we all know what they were playing for. That reward from Fresh Stop, who is like pretty new to the Survivor sponsorship, coming on board last season, and I think they bring such a cool, and you know when it's their like reward that you're gonna get that damn fried chicken that they have. I walked into a Fresh Stop the other day, and I love walking in. It's like Survivor. As I walk in, there's like the back of the sweet aisle, and it just says Survivor, Return of the Outcasts. It's like, oh, walking home, you know. And that the chicken that they have there it's like a version of fried chicken. And let me tell you, I had fried chicken on my season. The auction that we had on my season, I won fried chicken and chips. And let me tell you, nothing is warm. Everything is cold, and it's been there for the hour or two that it took us to get everything going. So it's not like the best meal you ever had, but it is the best meal. And so when they all playing for this reward, they know Nico mentions that they're playing for flipping fried chicken in there. I think that just added a whole other level. So, and I think at this point, all of these survivors in the game are they are playing at a level that they all know that at that reward challenge, there's 100% going to be something there. So I think that adds another level of like desperation for a reward challenge, because at every time you're pausing the game for a reward or like outpost, I say pausing, but like moving to another part of the game, outpost or reward or like merge feast, everybody in the back of their mind is going, there's going to be something here. So you know when you're winning those challenges that whatever you're getting is one part, and then there's another level to it that there might be something else there that you're also wanting to win. But I really enjoyed the visual of the challenge. It was chaos. It was entertaining, and I thought they did really well. Dino, when he got to the puzzle pieces, and this happened to us as well, is they're playing with a W, but he thought it was a M, so he's trying to figure out. And I tell you, when you go into this challenge, if you gave me like a word puzzle now, I can do it really easily. Not really easy, I'm not trying to blow my own horn, but it doesn't take you very long. But you're sitting there and you're looking at these things, and something that would come super naturally to you, like a word challenge, is taking way longer than it should do. And it's so frustrating, because the more frustrated you get, the longer it's taking you to just realize that is actually that, and then everything sort of slots in. And I don't know, I'm not sure that I went back. I did watch it again, but I don't recall Nico saying the words, the sweet taste of victory or success or something. And sometimes, you know, in those challenges, the words that actually you have to spell out do get mentioned, but I don't recall that happening. Maybe that was like back in the day when the people playing were not like first team players. And that idea of playing dirty, listen, folks, it's 2 million rand on the line this year. So playing dirty is kind of part of the package deal, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know who actually said that. Anyway, as soon as I saw that reward challenge, I mean the actual shop, the Fresh Stop shop, I thought, and they showed what was there. I thought there's 100% a clue in the cake, 100% clue in the cake. And I love how they decided who was going to be going to into that area first. Draw short straws. It wasn't who won the challenge. It wasn't who is the tallest or the hungriest or whatever. Super simple. Draw short straw. You get to go in first. And as soon as I saw that cake, I'm like, somebody needs to smash the cake. And old Meryl went in first. Literally, it was like, crack, while stuffing chicken in her face, hand in cake, pulls out, devours, licking lips, and somehow manages to, with a piece of chicken in her hand, open the package with the idol in it. Or it's actually a tribal pass. At that point, it's a cake pass, and into her pantsers it goes. So, yeah, lucky for her. And I don't know, I don't think it was anything like low key. When everybody else went in, they were like, there was a hole in the cake. There was a hole in the cake in a weird pouchy sort of shape. So I don't think it was any surprise that I don't know, maybe it was. Maybe a lot of people didn't know what she got or that, but everybody at the end of that challenge was like, whatever was there was found. Dino, my favorite part, when he just opens the slushy machines. I'm like, how are they going to get a clue out the slushy hole, bro? But if you've ever seen, I think it was the Australian Survivor, where they had a similar setup. They had a popcorn machine, or like a huge bucket of popcorn, and it was literally like people, it's like digging in, like it looked like a pile of snow the way it was being dug in. So there was such a rad throwback to people having to dig, and just it's so gross, guys. I can't tell you how dirty your hands are. Like, it's the way people's hands, your hands are never ever clean. You doesn't matter what you wash them in the ocean. It doesn't matter if you've been like trying to clean the pot. Nothing ever cleans your hands. So the idea of knowing that and knowing how gross you are, and then just like pulling into the food, and then the next person coming in and just eating that food, it's like Tom licking the the shit. Anyway, obviously they don't have to go to tribal, and or they win that challenge. They all go back, and Dino is the target for Dante again. I know in the previous live, I sometimes get Dino and Dante mixed up. Apologies, but I think sometimes you know what I'm saying. But Dino is still firmly in the voting out Dino tribe. And I think I mentioned last time that I think it's going to get him into a bit of trouble. He is going to alienate the people who he needs because of his laser focus. He's almost like obsessed with this one thing, and it's really it's costing him. I can't even, I don't know how to put it into words, but his obsession with his strict gameplay is almost alienating the other voices in his alliance. It happened already before in the previous episodes, and after this one, they come back, that vote, Philip flipped on that vote, and Dante didn't go. And he was like, look, this was Dino, this was all Dino came up with this whole thing. So the target is still firmly Dino for Dante, and he just cannot let it go. And he comes back and he's like, guys, we've got to do, he did the word, and he's still going on about it. And then in the episode, you kind of see like a firm shift of Meryl going, I'm done. I think Meryl knows that if she has her game linked to Dante for too much longer, she's going to go down with the ship. So it is a very interesting dynamic that we see it all the way through the week where she's just not willing to go down with Dante's ship because I think she sees him tanking himself. So it really is alienating a lot of people. And it has like something as simple as the tone of voice that Dante is speaking to people with. And remember at the start of all these recaps I mentioned, sorry, a bit nasally, that the lessons that you learn going into the game will determine, in my opinion, how far you reach if you go further than you did before. Because although Survivor is a strategic game, it's about being able to pivot whatever you presented with in front of you. And that's what the producers want to do. They want to present you with opportunities to flip your thoughts and your plans in the game. Because if they don't, that's not to say that it will be boring, but it can be pretty predictable because of that numbers majority routine of playing this game. So at every opportunities, the producers and the people making this show want to present you with opportunities to make different choices. And we're going to talk about Palesa and the different choices that she made and how it was so great to see her learning from the mistakes that she made. I call them mistakes because what else are they if you don't make it to sit at the end? That's my read on the game, right? You made mistakes if you didn't sit at the end. I mean, even I made mistakes because I didn't win. So there's only like games that don't have mistakes if you win. Even then, I guess you do have mistakes. But maybe you're able to pivot and move on from them, right? So that's when I call them mistakes, it's not like blunders. It's not like you fucked up. I'm just saying there have opportunities where you have a choice to make and sometimes you make the wrong one. And I think where Dante is maybe stuck in his old ways is he didn't have the ability to convince people. And when Dante gets angry, he almost gets like, no, this is the way it's going to be. And so I think he's losing the work that he did to gain that trust and that like cohesion with his alliance is slowly slipping away. And it's got to do with his reaction to stuff not going his way, his tone of voice, how he's talking to people, not letting other people speak. I love him, but he is so intense in this game of Survivor. And I think he did so well at changing the way things went. And I think he's losing that grip. And if, for example, imagine, for example, if Dante were able to just be like, Dino, leave him. Nah, it's cool. Who do you want to go? I'm happy with anybody. Doesn't matter. I don't care. We're so close to merge. If one more person goes home, two more people go home, I don't mind as long as it's not me. Imagine the change on the people around him. They'd be like, oh, cool. No, that's cool. If you're happy with my votes now, then let's, and it would change everything. But because it's so intense all the time, I think even the people closest to him are like, eek. And if we are attached to him, guys, I'm having such technical difficulties tonight. Anyway, we will soldier on. So if you look at somebody like Palesa, who is like been working with Dante and been managing and caressing and slowly developing this connection with him. It's so fascinating to me, actually, because of the fallout from the previous vote. I don't know if it was very obvious that it was Phil who didn't vote for Dante to go home. And so Dante comes back from that tribal and just opens up to Palesa, like Palesa voted with him. We all get to see the votes being read out. And we know that Palesa is the one who flipped. And around the fire, I think Felix is talking. Philip is talking about. I thought it was me. I got this feeling in my stomach, so I didn't vote for Shona. And so Dante is literally working with somebody is a double agent, as she very clearly states. She's like, you can't be double agents if not doing it properly. So she's got a very strict set of guidelines for what it takes to be a double agent, and she's doing it flawlessly. One of the things for me that spells out like really good gameplay is if you're involved with all of the information. And Palesa is just always there. Palesa around every conversation, and even if she's not there, people are going straight to her to tell her what's going on. I think she had such a nuanced game this season. Somebody actually messaged me privately on my DMs on Friday to say, because I posted and I said I'm so impressed with Palesa. Remember at the start I talk about learning your lessons. Palesa looked at her season and said, probably socially could have done more when I was at the bottom to make connections and try and work with other people who weren't directly in my alliance to try and get further into the game. Not that she had to come suck up to me or try and work with me, but at no point did Palesa ever talk strategy with the people who weren't in her own alliance. And I just looked at that as a lost opportunity, because I would have been open to listening at least to some conversations. Obviously I didn't know what was happening, so had she came to me with some more information that I didn't have, I would have been opening to listen to that. Maybe I won't. Maybe I wasn't. I don't know. I can't speak from what I was putting out there as a player. But at no point did she try and engage and form a relationship besides very general conversations around the fire, which also add to forming relationships. But the playing of the game and being social and trying to work with people and trying to feel where they are and who they're playing with and maybe where they want to, they talk about finding those cracks. Didn't try and find cracks anywhere. Maybe they weren't cracks, but they were, right? Because in a numbers majority, somebody is on the bottom. The beauty is when you're in it, you have no idea what your number what number you are. It's not like being at Steers waiting for like number 3 to be called because you know that that's your order. You have no idea. People are so good at like making you feel comfortable that you believe that you're number 1 or 2. And I think if you look at the episode on Thursday, somebody like Tajan all of a sudden was like caught in the middle of like this huge shakeup. And we'll talk about it a little bit later. He's, I think, in that moment going, hold on a sec. That the bull in the china shop thing, it works for a bit. And then it gets very, very difficult. I mean, in this episode, the first episode on Monday, we see again somebody like Pinty who has that energy of come at me once and I'm going to push back harder than you can imagine. She's not used to being